Hi folks, Tori Kamal here. I'm just vlogging my ongoing open heart surgery experience here. So I'll start right prior to the surgery. So originally I was scheduled on July 17th and July 14th, and it had to be rescheduled because a patient had a cardiac emergency event. So mine got rescheduled to a different date. I think it might have been towards the end of July, and then I had gotten prepped for that. That thing was gonna. I had to be there at 5 in the morning at the hospital. It was about 4:15, and got a call from the surgeon saying that they just had a patient who had basically was bleeding out, so they had to reschedule my surgery. So there's a lot of juggling there, and it got rescheduled to August 11th. And so, well, I guess not super common. If you have a surgery, just something to be aware of, that dates can shift. But finally, on the 11th, we went in 5 a.m. They got me all prepped for surgery. That's a kind of an awkward process because they got to shave you all over the place in case they have to put run lines somewhere or something like that. But I got all prepped up. They got me hooked up to IVs. Sorry for the interruption there. As often happens during a hospital stay, a nurse came in to get some vitals. I also had some amazing news that I was discharged. So this video is hopping around a little bit. I'm in a different location, but I still wanted to keep following up. So I think what I'll do is, just a quick warning that I will have a couple pictures inserted here. So if kind of like chest scarring and chest tubes makes you uncomfortable, maybe skip this section. But I just wanted to make sure that folks that are going to have this surgery can sort of get an idea of what to expect. And so I'll follow it up. They had all my IVs in. I was ready to go. I always do this thing where I try to resist the anesthesia right before I go and be like, how long can I last before I go under? And it's always just like basically right away. Like I'm thinking about it and then it's gone. The memory is gone. So the surgery lasted about 8 hours, and it ended basically right on time, which is good. And what they were planning to do was replace my ascending aorta because it had the two aneurysms in it, and they were going to try to save my natural valve. But once they took a look at the valve, it was full of issues, so they ended up replacing it with a 23 millimeter Onyx mechanical valve, which has two flaps in it, and it is not powered. It is, I don't know if passive is the right word, but basically when your heart pumps, it opens, and then when the pump is done, it just snaps shut. And an interesting thing is that I can hear my mechanical valve. Other people can hear my mechanical valve. You can hear it outside of my chest. It makes a little snap sound. So it's kind of unusual. But yeah, after 47 years, my heart sounds rather different. But the following I don't really remember because I was I guess under sedation, which is great because apparently it was pretty terrible. When I got out of the surgery and into the ICU, my mom and my wife were there, and because you can only have two people in the ICU there, and I was still intubated, still had a catheter in, and I guess I was in quite a lot of pain or uncomfortableness. Uh, the intubation is usually doesn't feel very good, so I looked kind of terrible at that point. When I went into the surgery, I weighed about 215 pounds, and they pump you full of fluids and all sorts of stuff to keep your organs safe. And I guess my face was very puffy. My eyes were yellow and kind of popping out a little bit, and also pretty puffy. So my wife was a little bit distressed, but I said, no, that's normal. That's what you look like because of all the fluids and the everything from the surgery. So I was still intubated. Again, I have no memory of this part. And what the nurse did is I was given like a ball to squeeze or something like that, or some little notifier. And the nurse would say, hey, does your head hurt? And I wouldn't do anything. Does your legs hurt? It basically goes all the way through the body. And apparently every time it came back to my throat, which is where I was intubated, I would say, yeah, it was uncomfortable. I guess I was kind of tearing up quite a bit. But eventually, after a while, I think I was in the ICU for about 15 hours or so, and I was getting better pretty quick. They at some point in there they took out the intubation and catheter, and it's probably some point after that that I finally have memories again of being in the ICU. And my neck was really uncomfortable after that. I think your neck gets kind of popped in a weird position when you're intubated. And so I had kind of a lot of neck pain. But other than that, I felt pretty good. Also, I guess to be fair, I had some breathing pain, a little bit of chest pain because I had the chest tubes in, but it wasn't like an excruciating pain. It's just that when you breathe in a bit, you kind of start feeling that pressure in there. There's so much fluid in there. There's got the chest tubes, so it's very uncomfortable to have bigger breaths. So I was taking smaller breaths, and yeah, about after 15 hours, they moved me from the ICU to the inpatient hospital unit, sort of the recovery unit there. And I will pick up the next video there. Thanks for watching, folks.